Hey Brit+Con fam, welcome back to my channel. So today I am doing a requested video from Threadhead Guru, and they asked me to do a video about the do's and don'ts of communication between the person who's deployed and the person who's home. And so I'm going to be doing that video for them, and then also kind of just things that you should not say in general while your person is deployed. So yeah, let's get started. So if this is not your first deployment, if your husband, spouse, person has been deployed before, you probably already know kind of most of what I'm going to say in this video. But if you are newer to the deployment like I am, this is something that I had no idea about, and so I want to let you guys know all of this information that was new to me. And one of the first things that you should know in your first deployment is this thing called OPSEC. I believe that's how it's pronounced. But basically, it's OPSEC, OPSEC. And what it stands for is Operational Security. And basically what it is, it's just this like set of rules to protect the people on deployment, so that you yourself aren't saying anything that could potentially harm them or potentially get someone captured or killed or anything like that. You want to protect them. And so this like security thing is a set of rules to help you keep them safe. And so I'm going to run through these really quickly so you can get an idea of what they are, and then I'll go into the do's and don'ts of relationship communication. So you may have all heard the phrase loose lips sink ships. And that phrase comes from just like, gossiping, or, just saying like, oh, my husband just left on deployment, or oh, he's here, oh, he's here. It's like, you don't want to say those things because loose lips sink ships. He could potentially get harmed with you saying all of this stuff. And so I wrote a couple of them down. And the first one is do not say specific dates. So don't say this is when my husband, boyfriend, person, blah, 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 is leaving for deployment. Don't say this is when so-and-so is getting home from deployment, or even I think they're getting home from deployment this day. And this is majority for social media. If you are in a room with someone, closed doors, and you feel comfortable with them and you've known them and you feel like you want to tell them because you're close to them, like that's okay, but make sure you know them. Maybe it should only be a family member, or I don't know, just like anybody you feel comfortable with, but don't be saying it to just anyone, and definitely don't be sharing it on social media. So the second one is don't be sharing locations. Don't say that they're about to port somewhere, or they're about to leave to this place, or, don't share anything about location. Don't say the movements of where they're going. Don't be saying like they're about to go here, or they're like this, like near this area, or like anything. Don't share anything about locations at all, because that could definitely be harmful to them. The third one, I kind of touched on this on the first. Don't share when they are coming home. Even if you don't know the date, you can say like it could be August 1st or August 15th, or like giving, even though you're giving different dates and you aren't sure, that still could be harmful because it's like specific dates. It's not just like August. Saying like they're coming home in August is fine, but it still could be potentially harmful, so just watch who you say that to. Another thing that people don't know is don't share photos that the person who's deployed has sent to you and now you are sharing them. Don't do that, because there's this thing on photos called like geolocation, and if they took a picture and their geolocation is on, and say they're in, I don't know, like Afghanistan. Say they're in Afghanistan and they press the button and they take a picture, they sent it to you, well, their location is still in Afghanistan. You put that on social media, the location is still with it, and some like really smart hacker or terrorist could find that and could find them, and that's potentially super, super harmful. So don't be doing that. And the last one, there's a couple more that I didn't talk about, and you can always research this about like OPSEC rules to look at more. But the last one is just don't be posting about what their specific job is, because that could be harmful too. So just think about stuff like that before you post it on social media. just think, could this be harmful to him? I heard when we were in a meeting that ships and troops have actually gotten delayed coming home because they were worried and the word got out that they were coming home, and so they didn't want to risk getting caught or like getting in harm's way or anything like that. So don't be saying anything because they could potentially not be coming home because someone now knows when they're coming home. So just be careful about all of that stuff and don't be sharing that. So to talk about communication between you and your significant other during deployment, to go back to what I had just said, you should not be talking about specific locations and specific dates with them. If you were going to talk about specific dates and specific locations, you need to make up your own like little code that you do. And it needs to be a code that is actually unbreakable, I guess you should say. Because some people think they're really smart and they come up with these really cool codes and they're really not that codey, I guess, or like hard to crack. Me and my husband, when we first did our codes, they were super, super like not hard at all. And then we figured that out, and so we had to change it and we had to make it more difficult. So just be sure you make yours difficult if you're going to talk about stuff like that. Another thing that you should not be talking about, which is kind of self-explanatory, but possibly not, is death. You should not be talking about death with them. And even if like this is kind of extreme, but if someone were to die in their family, you are not responsible and should not tell them over email or if they can call or whatever. You should not be the first one to tell them. I learned this thing while we were in our meeting, that if something does happen to his family or to me or to anyone, that the first person I should contact is the Red Cross, and then the Red Cross will contact him. Because if it was just me to tell him and I just kind of like told him someone died and no one was around to like kind of be like, are you okay or what? Like, he just heard this bad news and now he has to go to work. If you tell the Red Cross, they go through the chain of command. The chain of command helps him and talks to him and all of the things that he needs while he is deployed. And so definitely don't talk about that. Don't talk about any bad news like that. If something does happen, go through the Red Cross first. So another thing that I want to talk about are feelings. I've got a lot of emails where girls will say that they're not going to share their feelings with him because he's, on deployment, he's focused, he's, like, you don't want him to be mad at you for having these feelings. Like, no, that should not be the case. Like, you should be able to tell him your feelings. If you're not able to tell him your feelings, if he gets mad at you for sharing your feelings, he probably isn't the right guy for you. Because, if he gets mad because he doesn't understand you, and then you're like, oh, no, this is what I meant, and you'll have a conversation about it, and he's like, oh, okay, I didn't know that, I'm sorry, blah, 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 that's understandable. But if he just doesn't want to listen to your feelings, if he doesn't care that you're sad, if he doesn't care that you feel lonely, or if he just doesn't want to listen to your feelings, that's not okay. You should not be with this guy if he doesn't care. It's okay to talk about your feelings with the person who is deployed. Just the other day, I got a chance to talk to my husband, and I told him that I was crying, and then I told him that I was sad, and, we talked about it, and he was like, I'm sorry, and, we just, had a really good conversation about my feelings, and you should be able to talk about that kind of stuff. And, don't take up the whole time with just, this is how I feel, blah, blah, blah. You want to have good conversation, but know that it is okay to share your feelings with them, because if you want to spend the rest of your life with them, you should be able to share your feelings with them too. It doesn't matter where they are. They should be able to listen to you and kind of help you process that. And so know that that is definitely okay, and you are able to do, and you should be able to do that. And the last thing I want to talk to you guys about are arguments. Now, arguments can range from money problems to just a lack of communication. And something that I encourage you ladies to do is, if you do feel like you are in an argument and you're able to email him, maybe write him an email saying how you feel. And before you write that email, take a deep breath and just breathe. Because sometimes as women, when we get angry, we just are like, oh, I'm so mad at you, blah, 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 like blah, 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 blah. And you do not want to do that. You do not want to have an angry argument over email while they are deployed. And something that I want to address is really think about that argument before you send an email. Because he is gone, you're missing him, and think, is this worth the argument? Is this worth me putting more stress on him when he's out there fighting for our country? Or can I just let it go? Not a big deal. If it's not something like that, I still encourage you to write that email. But again, take that deep breath and say, I'm not mad at you anymore, but this is how I feel. I feel this way, and I just need you to understand how I feel. I need you to understand that this is what happened, and that's why I got upset. And I just need you to apologize and know that I need to hear that from you because I just feel hurt. And really talk through that and talk in a calm email, in a calm way, for where they don't feel attacked. Because when we, as even women and especially men, when we feel like someone is attacking us, we get mad. And so if you're attacking him, he's not going to be like, oh, all calm like this. He's going to be mad and he's going to be like, what the heck, stupid woman, like, get away from me. He's going to be mad and not want to talk to you. So definitely write an email that's like super calm and understanding and everything like that. So as far as the lack of communication, I think it is super important to have these conversations before going on deployment and saying, this is how much money we're going to spend. This is the communication that we may or may not have. We are going to talk. I want to talk. I want to be able to talk to you. Let's email. Let's write letters. Let's do this stuff. Like, be on the same page with communication. Because something that I learned in the meeting is that sometimes the men don't want to talk to the women because they feel like if they talk to them, they're going to miss them and the other person's going to miss them and they're going to be distracted from the mission. And then on the other side, the woman's like, why isn't he talking to me? I miss him. I want to talk to him. And so like they're both on separate pages, not understanding each other. So make sure you both make it clear, like, you're going to talk to each other. And if you aren't going to talk to each other, then that needs to be clear also. But I would encourage you both to want to talk to each other, but to have that conversation so you know where each other is at in that communication level. But if you're currently in that situation, again, like, write an email and say, like, be calm and say, I would really like if, we had conversations more. I miss talking to you. I feel like we're getting distant, because they may just not know that they're acting that way or anything like that. So those are kind of my tips for deployment and do's and don'ts of communication. And if you guys want to be more in depth with just this topic, you can definitely email me, and my email will be linked below as always. My new store is up, so be sure to check that out. And I'm super pumped about it, so get excited. And these are just some things that I'll have on my website. More will come in the future, so that's also exciting. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and comment down below anything your heart desires. Please be sure to email me if you have any questions. I love to hear your thoughts and just all that stuff. So anyways, I love you guys, and I will see you in my next video.